Right, good afternoon. I think we'll get started now. I think the majority of people look to be in now. So thank you for joining us for our virtual subject information session. So my name is Sophie and I'm a designer and digital marketing coordinator here at East Coast College. So just to make you aware, we will be recording the session. This will give you the opportunity to come back and watch it. And we'll put this up on YouTube early next week. And it also gives us the chance to share this with any students that were unable to attend. So in this session, we will be covering Automotive, which is our motor vehicle courses. And our tutor, Simon, is here to talk to you all about that. So throughout the session, if you do find that you've got any questions, there is just a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So if you just pop your questions in there and we can visit them at the end of the session and answer those for you. So I'll now hand over to Simon, who will talk to you all about Automotive.
All right, thank you, Sophie. So welcome, I was going to say this afternoon, evening, somewhere in between. So yeah, motor vehicle, automotive, it's a really kind of broad area. Lots of our students come with a real passion for the industry, for a real interest in cars and anything that kind of goes fast and makes a good noise. So we are pretty similar as tutors. That's what we're into too. So we tend to spend lots of time teaching your qualification and lots of time just generally chatting about cars and stuff. So you can start with us. The first kind of step is based on your entry requirements. So if your entry requirements, or our entry requirements for the level one, the year one is 3s. So if you come in with 3s, then you can go on to that. If you go lower than 3s, then we've still got the option of what we're calling the pre-vocational. So in there will be lots of the stuff that you would cover in the level one, but we support your English and maths to hopefully get you up. So then you jump on the next level the following year. So we can go all the way from pre-vocational kind of level 1, level 2, and up to level 3, which is a fully qualified automotive technician. We'll study lots of things, as you can see there on the slides. Steering systems, braking systems, suspension systems are all going to continue when we start working on electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. That's not going to change. So those kind of subject areas will continue for the next 20, 30, 40 years and so on. So there's going to be lots of things that we learn. We're all pretty current, so we stay in the industry as much as possible. I myself, I try and get into Volkswagen Audi, where I worked just before coming to the college. Again, to try and maintain my up-to-date knowledge. We just recently bought a hybrid vehicle and an electric vehicle. I've got my qualifications to be able to deliver all that as well. Again, I think a few years ago we talked about it being future technology. I'd say it's now technology. You see lots more electric and hybrid vehicles on the road than there ever was before. In terms of resources, I've got 2 campuses, so we teach over Great Yarmouth and Lowestoft campus, both with great workshops. The Lowestoft one is where I'm predominantly based. We have 4 ramps, an MOT test lane, the latest diagnostic equipment, so Bosch diagnostic. So again, those level 3 students, we get quite complex diagnostic fault finding, which again is really important part of the modern day vehicle now, is understanding the electrical side. Even vehicles with normal engines, there's still more and more electrics than you'd have before. Yeah, Sophie, if you want to move on, that'd be super. So in terms of progression, now this used to be, years ago, the progression was just going into a garage. That was it. That was pretty much your only option. You studied motor vehicle and then you went into a garage. Nowadays, the options are hugely expanded. So there are still lots of opportunities to go straight into a garage. to be a technician, to be a mechanic. We have had really good success with students going into the service and sales side. So if you're more into wearing a suit and tie rather than working on the vehicles, there's lots of opportunities there as well. Not just that, but outside of the direct kind of automotive industry, there are loads of opportunities for technicians. So we call people technicians now. We used to kind of call them mechanics because it was all mechanical, but there's so much electrical systems involved that we now class those working on automotive vehicles as technicians. You can see at the bottom of the slide there, there's a variety of different engineering, offshore, master techs, MOT testers. There's huge scope now. So a lot of the guys I worked with at Volkswagen Audi have kind of gone off into working offshore. So an engine that we work on in a workshop is exactly the same as an engine that powers a rig, that powers the wind turbines. They're just huge diesel engines. So lots of the stuff that you start with us, you kind of, your opportunities are going to just expand as you work through. Part of the course, we really look into that, where you want to go. Again, some people come on, want to be a technician, work their way through and go and get a job as a technician. Others kind of work their way through and go off into some of these different roles. Apprenticeships, we have lots and lots of apprenticeships going on. Best thing to do with that is we've got when you do come into college for next open evening, then we've got lots of the employers that we work with and lots of places where we have apprentices. The other thing we do is we've got more and more students going into university to go into motorsport. We've had 2 or 3 over the last few years going up north to Bolton University, where they have an excellent, I'm slightly jealous, brilliant kind of motorsport degree there, working directly on track at some of the local circuits. So yeah, lots and lots of opportunity and lots of places to go from here.
Great, thank you, Simon. So if you just have a look to see what questions we've had come through. So we just had someone ask if motor vehicle is available at Great Yarmouth. It's available at both, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah, that's right. So we have teachers and again a full workshop at both Great Yarmouth and Lowestoft campus. We teach across the same courses, so up to level 2. So you do pre-voc year 1, year 2. The only difference is once you get to level 3, all the equipment currently is here at Lowestoft campus. But again, for you guys that are just looking and are just interested, either campus will kind of sort you out for the next few years.
Great. So we've had someone ask, so how much of the course is theory-based and how much of it is practical?
Yeah, super. So we generally, it's about 50-50. Again, with the old-fashioned mechanic, it was more about the kind of physical labor kind of tasks. Nowadays, with vehicles being so complex, you need to understand how they work to be able to repair them. So again, if you're removing an alternator, for example, which is a component that charges the electrical system in the car, you kind of need to know how it works, how all the internals work before you can take it off a car and start to strip it. So yeah, I'd say about 50-50 in terms of theory and practical.
Great. Go. So obviously you touched on earlier about the MOT test lane that you've got at Lowestoft. So does that give the students the opportunity to work in sort of a real working environment? Are they on real people's cars?
Yep. So all the vehicles that we have across the both campuses are college owned. There over the years we have had opportunities where we've run kind of open to staff vehicles, so we can work on real cars. Again, unfortunately, COVID this year has kind of scuppered some of those plans, but hopefully, moving forward, we'll be able to get back into running that kind of scenario. But yeah, everything we do is kind of real world. So again, like the MOT test lane, that's exactly what you would find if you went into either a garage or an MOT test centre. It's exactly the same. The ramps, the tools, the equipment are exactly the same as you would find in a garage. If you walk straight from our workshop into a garage, it'd be the same. You'd be used to the surroundings.
Perfect. So someone's just asked, do the students get the opportunity to partake in any work experience throughout the course?
Okay, yep. So work experience is something that is the best work experience is if you know someone, if you have some good links already, if you go and volunteer and do Saturday work or something like that at a local garage. We do have some good links, obviously, garages that we have apprentices in. Sometimes we'll be happy to take on students. But yeah, that me myself, when I started my career, that was I went out and got myself some work experience and then was able to get myself an apprenticeship. I think that is the best way. But yeah, there will be opportunities. Obviously, we have quite a large number of students, um, so it's difficult for us to place every student into a work environment. So yeah, best thing to do is to try and find what you can yourself.
Great. So we've had someone ask as well. So will they be at college every day?
Okay, yeah, good question. So depending on your English and Maths requirement, so whether you're having to study functional skills or GCSEs or none, generally we try and wrap it around 2 days. So that may be 2 full days, that may be 1 day and a half day here and a half day there. But generally, without English and Maths, it'll be 2 days. Then obviously with English and Maths on top, it may be kind of three days. Yeah, it's a full-time course. There's lots to learn. There's lots of expectation for you guys to be learning outside of when you're just in the classroom with us or just in the workshop with us. And again, with if this is a passion, if this is something you're interested in, like me, you find that you're always on YouTube looking at daft car stuff anyway, at all hours of the day. So yeah, it's not like homework because you kind of want to do it.
Great. So we've had someone ask, so are there any exams as part of the course?
Yeah, so as you progress through, you'll find there's different standards of exams. So that as you start, there'll be again, equivalent to the level you're learning. So early on, there'll just be a few exams. In the middle, at the kind of year two stage, there tends to be quite a few exams. But again, we get you prepared for those. We work through exam techniques and things like that. Right at the end, the kind of final level, the year three, there are exams there as well, which are fairly complex, but again, you'll have been through the system with us, and we have really good success rates on exams. We will also do some practical assessments. So as much as the awarding body, so it's the Institute of the Motor Industry, the IMI, will kind of want to see your knowledge through exams. We'll also see your hand skills and how you get on in the workshop through practical assessments periodically throughout the year.
Perfect. So obviously someone has just asked, obviously with COVID, it's not been possible this year, but usually do the students get to do any sort of go to any special events or have trips to different places?
Yeah, so over the years, we've been to a variety of different places. We often used to go to the Birmingham NEC, to the Auto Sports Show. Um, we, last few years, have been going to Santa Pod Raceway and spending a day there, watching cars drag race up and down the strip, going into the garages. We've got tours of some of the large kind of dragster vehicle garages, chatting with the mechanics and the technicians in there. Yeah, again, COVID's put a stop to those this year, but yeah, hopefully we'll get back into that following year.
Great. So I think this may be our last question. So someone has just asked sort of how big roughly are class sizes? Are they sort of really big or are they quite small?
Okay. Yeah, so this year we have had a huge number of applicants, and we're looking at doing some theory teaching, which will potentially be quite large groups. And then when you get into the workshop, so you get the chance to really kind of get stuck in and learn, we'll then split those groups down. So it kind of depends which lesson you're in. So there may be some lessons where you're all in together. There may be other lessons where you're in smaller groups, able to really focus on the practical element.
Perfect. Thank you, Simon. So that brings us to the end of our presentation this evening. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I think we've just had another one come through. Just have a quick look. So someone has asked, what equipment is provided and what do they need to get?
Okay, great question. Every piece of equipment you need will be in our workshop. So in terms of the automotive tools, you won't need anything. In the workshop, you will need steel toe cap boots to protect your feet, and we're currently using overalls, so kind of coveralls, anything to protect your clothes from getting dirty, because as our workshops are very clean, but there are some times where you might get a bit of dirt on you, and we don't want that on your clothes. So it's more to protect you. And then, so when you go off back into college, you're not covered in oil or grease. Again, we don't tend to get that dirty, but just to protect yourself. So yeah, boots and overalls you will need. In the classroom, I am a bit of a digital geek, so I love people using tablets or phones to record stuff, record information. If you are more comfortable with a notebook and a pen, and that is quite all right as well. So anything to kind of record your own notes on lessons. We use Teams a lot more now, kind of thanks to COVID really. So lots of information will be on there, and you actually have like OneNote, and you can make different notes on there as well. So
Right, just to expand on that slightly. So obviously you mentioned they'll need work boots and some overalls. So will they need to get them through the college, or is it a case of they can just source them with sort of a local company?
Yep, either. So if they're signed up and they're going to come on the course, then if they go to Yarmouth stores and say they are coming to East Coast College, they'll get a discount on boots and overalls there. But they can also get them from wherever as well. So there's no kind of, you don't have to get them from a certain place. There's no kind of restrictions on colour. If you want nice bright orange ones, then go for it. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So yes, if you haven't already applied to us at East Coast College, or you're sort of interested in sort of the other courses that we offer, please head over to our website, which is on the screen there, www.eastcoast.ac.uk. You can either send an inquiry form through to us if you've got any questions, or you can apply directly for the course. You can And if you need to get in touch or you have any questions or anything like that, please email us at heretohelp@eastcoast.ac.uk, and a member of the team will get back to you as soon as they can. But thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope you have a great evening. Thank you.
Yeah.